To the point that you made earlier, Marvin, about the fact that they've asked members to disavow just that small segment. I did some digging. So if you go to the church website now, you can go to the "Come Follow Me" message. If you don't want to have to dig through it all, if you go to the Salt Lake Tribune article that came out this weekend, at the very front of the article, there's a highlighted link to the "Come Follow Me" thing, and when you click on that, it'll take you to the lesson that is problematic, and it's the February 3rd through 9th lesson. It's appropriate. It's Black History Month, and they have the link there, and they cover the section in Second Nephi. And when you go to it now, it has a relatively cleaned up statement, but the church is a multimedia organization. They have web, they have audio, and they have print. And the print was based on a PDF file that the church also made available on their website. So on that website, there's a little download arrow at the top. If you click on that download arrow and go download the entire book in PDF, you'll open up the PDF. They did not fix the PDF. So if you pull up and we can see it here, this is the page that was corrected. And it's this statement right here about what is the curse that came in on the Lamanites. And, this in classic trying to cover your butt style, you'll see several different ellipses in this quote because they've taken the original quote by Joseph F. Smith, and I think whoever authored this thought that they were doing a good job. They thought, oh, look, we're kind of separating the past ideas about skin and curse from the current ideas. And so that's kind of what they pieced together here. What they didn't realize was that if you want to actually disavow real racist notions, you have to go back and you have to say, you can't just say that the mark of the skin is no longer considered accursed, because by saying that, what you're saying is that at one point in the past, it was a mark of the curse. Right. And so you're giving fuel to the idea that something that is biologically determined, the melanin in your skin, is somehow affected by God to place a mark that indicates the state of your soul. And that is something that was tacitly affirmed by how this quote was first done. And that's why people saw it as so problematic. And it's still hosted on the church website. I don't think you can see the URL for where I have, but this is at media.ldscdn.org. You can see it for yourself. If you go to that website and you look at it, it's still there. Now, they did go ahead and change the online version of the website, the version that kids are going to see in their smartphones, and they also have a recorded audio of somebody reading this, and they corrected it in the recorded audio. But in the PDF file, which is what if you need to print out a lesson for everybody in your lesson manual, it's a lot easier to print out a PDF than it is to print out a web page, because the web page has all of the navigation. So this is what a lot of people that are maybe in lesser developed parts of the country or places that don't have as much resources, they're going to take what the church has printed, as you pointed out, Marvin, or this PDF file, and that is what is going to be used. And the fact that there has not been a full in-depth discussion about why it is that these ideas are hurtful and wrong. It's one thing to say, we disavow that. But if you don't go into the conversation about why these ideas are wrong, the history about how people in the past have dug into Scripture, Old Testament, New Testament, to try to find scriptural justification for hate, for bigotry, for bias, and use them in the past, and how if you understand that, then you can untangle it in your own heart, in your own mind, in your own thinking, so that you can reject those false notions if somebody else was to try to pass them off on you. And credit to whoever it is that picked this up in the manual, but clearly they have not done a good enough job. We have the church right now spending billions of dollars to redo the foundation to the temple and to renovate Temple Square. It is a far worse blight on the church that these ideas continue to come out under the heading of doctrine than it is that some of the architectures look like the 1970s or anything like that.
Yeah, the church has the resources and the network channels to be able to clear the problem up if they wanted to, plain and simple. And so people just have to be aware that they're not doing it because they don't want to.